Does that make sense, Dylan?
Yeah, but isn't that both the same blessing? Like shako.
Yes, but we try over here to clearly say that you're making two different meals because we don't want you to have a milkshake and a burger in the same meal. That's why
when you finish it,
we clearly make a separation. That's the idea over here. So that's what you do after you have dairy that is in liquid form, like a cup of coffee, a milkshake, whatever it is. The second category is, again, we spoke about yesterday, if you eat something that is solid, that is dairy, you eat a cheesecake, you eat a lasagna, a pizza, and afterwards you want to have meat. So you can do that, okay? First, again, you got to rinse your mouth, then you got to clean up your mouth a little bit. Sometimes there's food around your mouth, and the Englishmen eat very nicely with the right etiquette, have no food around their mouth when they eat. In any case, then you wash your hands and you eat a part of food. Okay, so one second, let's just clarify that. What do you do after you eat pizza and want to have meat? You rinse your mouth, you eat a part of food, like a cracker or something like that, okay? And clean around your mouth, make sure your hands are clean, and then you can go ahead and eat your meat. These are the steps to take after you have eaten, for example, pizza, and then you're gonna have meat. Okay, the third category is after eating a hard cheese. After eating a hard cheese, one must wait 6 hours. This is due to the special nature of a hard cheese. Hard cheeses leave a fatty residue in the mouth and throat. The same way the Rambam explains that the reason why one has to wait 6 hours after eating meat, says the Rambam, is because it leaves a fatty residue in the mouth. So a hard aged cheese has the same nature and will leave a fatty residue in your mouth. Now, nowadays, most cheeses are not considered hard cheeses, but cheeses like Parmesan are considered hard cheeses and require a 6 hour or whatever time you normally wait after meat, also in this case. Now, there is a bit of a thing. I'm not actually going to speak about hard cheese unless you guys are really interested in it. I can also give a class on that, but nowadays the way they make hard cheeses is different than the way they used to, and if you know about this, a hard cheese in the past, the way they used to make it is that it actually would be aging in a place. You would age it for a long time. Nowadays, nobody has time for anything, right? So what do we do?
That's not true. Yeah, that's really not true. If you go to like a nice supermarket and you get like a nice cheese,
most hard cheeses still age, like good cheese.
Like cheddar is still, there's some cheddars that are still like aged and
they're properly aged?
Yes.
So according to what I've seen is that nowadays, you're saying that's not reality. I'd be interested actually in seeing more about that.
Well, to be fair, I only know from the Goyish world. I don't know about the kosher world. I know in like the non-Jewish world, like the best like establishments, all the best cheese is aged.
Do you sell it in Tesco's?
Yeah, even in Tesco, like even
Mark's expensive food also.
Yeah. Like most, even cheddar cheese there will be aged like 36 months at least.
Really? That's great.
Like the mold.
Oh,
it's
the
really
French one,
good. It will be like
long
multiple years. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so in any case, you have to know because a lot of times the way they actually create them is they put enzymes in there and they actually haven't been aging properly. So there's a debate if that still is considered a hard cheese, even if it has the same flavor in the end, because it didn't really actually have the aging time. That's a halachic question. But you're saying that some of them actually have been aged.
At least in the Goyish world. I don't know about the Jewish
I don't
world.
think that would be relevant to kosher, not kosher, this part.
You sure?
The aging part, but we can check it out.
I know the parmesan's different in the kosher world.
Yes, it's different, meaning it's definitely differently made, but I'm not sure if the kosher one has to be made with enzymes. It could also be aged. That's what I'm saying. That piece is not depending on the fact it's kosher or not kosher, but I'm happy to try and research more. Please also feel free to do your own research.
I will research because I'd assume like if they're able to like change in one aspect, then it means they're able to make leniencies for other aspects as well in the kosher world. But maybe in the non-kosher world, they're not able to make leniencies in any aspects, so they can't do that. If that's like
in terms of creating a different type of parmesan,
creating like good quality cheese. If if their aim is to have cheese at its most authentic and best level, then it's like they're not gonna
play around with it.
They're not gonna play around. They're gonna have parmesan this way, so they're not gonna have enzymes. But in the Jewish world, it's like, oh, if we don't have to do parmesan properly, then we can put some enzymes in it as well. That's what I'm thinking.
Interesting.
But I'm not
You
sure.
want to research that?
That's just a theory.
That's interesting. Okay, let's check that out. We can both
Maybe I'm wrong.
Perfect. One thing I do want you to know is that, so basically, if you have a bit of Parmesan on that is cold, being like you eat it over something, sometimes they sprinkle it over a salad. If you go to a cafe and you order a salad, sometimes they sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan on top.
Yeah.
So you gotta wait 6 hours after that, okay? Because it's a hard cheese, or 5.5 hours, whatever you're waiting. Now, if the Parmesan is melted, then it loses that quality, and then you don't need to wait 6 hours anymore. And therefore, if, for example, you have a really nice pizza and it has different types of cheese on it, one of them is Parmesan, or anything else, Parmesan that's melted on something, you don't have to wait 6 hours, and you can eat immediately meat afterwards, provided you've taken the right steps we spoke out earlier from eating cheese and then eating dairy, eating that meat afterwards. So if your Parmesan is melted, you can have meat afterwards, provided you rinse your mouth, you eat a part of food, you clean around your mouth, you make sure your hands are clean. If you've done that, then you're good. So this limitation of the hard cheeses is only true if it is in a cold form, it's not be melted.
Yeah, so if you sprinkle it on pasta, then it's fine, but if you sprinkle it on salad, then it's not fine.
Right, because if you sprinkle it over pasta, it melts.
Yeah,
Exactly, that's exactly what we're saying. Okay, so then you won't have to wait. Okay, that is in terms of eating meat after cheese. Okay, so now, let's speak about a few situations in which case you do not need to wait after eating meat. Okay? Or let's just discuss certain different situations that will be kind of eating meat, and gonna explore if you can eat dairy straight afterwards and if there's a waiting time. Okay? Just a few examples, just to give you a little idea. The different case we'll be speaking about is what happens if you eat a tablet that has a meaty coating. Apparently these things exist. What happens if you eat a part of food that has been cooked in a meat pot? What happens if you eat a part of food that has been cooked with meat in the same
What
pot?
tablet are you talking about?
I don't exactly know.
Because I was looking at something like that, and it's like, let's say you having organ supplements.
Okay.
Take supplement like vitamins, and the vitamins are with organs. It's encapsulated, so you're not having it for the taste.
Okay, that's
It's
true.
different, no?
That's true. So the truth of the matter is that indeed, if you eat, so let's go one by one. Okay, so we have just a couple of examples I'm speaking about. Okay, so if you eat a meaty tablet or a pill, since none of the reasons of waiting time apply, you don't need to wait. Okay, that means that even though you ate something, in theory you swallowed something that is meaty, but there is no fatty residues that's going to be left in your mouth when you swallow the pill. There is no pieces of meat that are lodging between your teeth, like Rashi says. There's none of that applicable. So therefore, halachically, even if a person eats a tablet that has a meaty coating, there is no need to wait. You can eat dairy immediately afterwards. Okay? Now, I don't know how common that is. You're saying you know such tablets, but
It's like
apparently,
similar to like if you're swallowing the pill and you're drinking some water. You're not drinking water for your thirst. You're drinking it to aid.
yeah. So then you don't have to make a bracha on the water. That's true. But over here, that in theory you have taken something in that is meaty. So one could have thought that, this is meaty, you gotta wait proper time for it, but the answer is no. You don't need to wait any time for this, since it does not leave any fatty residue and there's no meat lodging between your teeth when you swallow a tablet.
Is the other reason also not because you're not eating it for the taste?
That's not brought down in halacha.
It's not.
The two reasons that are brought down in halacha are or the reason because any of the required reasons, Rashi or the Rambam, are not applicable over here. Okay? That is number one. Okay. Another thing. Yes, Sadiq.
Maybe we'll talk about it later, but the topic of chicken, why is it held to like the same standard as beef? Because it's not a...
It is a rabbinical
it's not a
extension. It is not by Torah law prohibited. By Torah law, the only thing that is prohibited is a domestic animal and milk from a domestic animal. Okay? Anything else is not a problem. It's only a rabbinical extension. You want to have more background on the reason why the rabbis gave it that status. Is that what you're asking? Because it's a rabbinical extension. Okay, I'm happy to speak about it sometime. Absolutely. Okay, sure. Okay, great. What about tasting food, guys? Tasting food. It's Erev Shabbos. You're standing in your kitchen. I guess this is more. I don't know. Any of you guys cook?
No, we live in yeshiva where the food is served to us rabbis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm already.
Sorry, something. I don't live in yeshiva. The food still gets served to me.
Back in my day, 6 months ago, I was cooking a lot, but now I've forgotten how to what a kitchen even looks like.
Well, you still remember about the Parmesan. In any case,
I do the cleaning. I trade it for the cooking. So I'll clean, they can cook.
Okay, that's great. I like that. In any case, okay. So when you cook food, okay, so you may want to taste your food, especially Erev Shabbos. You want to have some of the But I'm very reluctant to taste the food because that means that if I taste some of the meaty food or chicken soup or whatever it is, anything that's meaty, then I become meaty. I've got it blocked off for 6 hours and I need my coffee before Shabbos. Like on the way to shul, I like have my coffee with me. So like Friday night, so like I kind of don't want to become meaty. So I'll tell you what the halacha is. If you taste in a way that only your tongue touches the meat, okay?
That doesn't make sense.
I'm just telling you the halacha.
Because your tongue goes back into your mouth, so it is going into your mouth.
If it doesn't touch anything else,
Lick
okay?
it like ice cream.
And if
Doesn't
you
make
can
sense.
do this in the above mentioned manner, then a person may eat dairy afterwards.
But how do we get that
You're
halacha?
very
How do we
skilled.
reach that halacha?
How do
You're
you-
really
how do you-
skilled at
Oh,
that.
I don't know, you have to
duck?
be pretty skilled.
You
How-
mean a duck?
No, I don't mean how do you do that. I mean, how do we reach that is the halacha?
It's not called eating. It's not considered eating.
But why is it not considered eating? It's literally putting food in your mouth that gets consumed, like the way that food that gets eaten gets consumed.
You're saying that even if it's just your tongue touching the food,
It eventually
you're
goes
saying,
down
you're
the same
saying,
way.
you're saying at the end of the day there's a residue that's stuck to your tongue, and that's going to be
It
somewhere.
goes, and then you're going to close your mouth, it goes back in, it goes into your mouth, it gets digested exactly the same as normal eating. That's what I'm saying.
I hear. This is a clear halacha. You want to know at the end of the day, it shouldn't be any different than eating. Okay, let's. I hear. I don't know why
So
that is.
who passed that halacha?
It says it in the Codex of Jewish law, Shulchan Aruch.
The Shulchan Aruch wrote that.
Yeah.
How did they get to that though?
I hear that.
That's what I'm
You're
saying.
saying at the end of the day, even when you taste it, you are in theory still absorbing something.
Yeah. Is it in the Gemara? Did you get it from? Is it like?
Yeah, every halacha in Shulchan Aruch comes from the Gemara.
No, but like not right from the, as in he works it out from the Gemara at all.
So, right, you have the Gemara, then you have early commentators that discuss the
Yeah.
Gemara and they compare different cases and scenarios, and then that goes further to halacha.
Exactly. So what
Yeah.
I'm saying is maybe when they passed this particular halacha, they misread the Gemara or something.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That I hear that.
That's-
You know something? I have a deal, Tzaddik. You do the homework on the Parmesan, okay? And I'll do my homework on this. Okay? Good deal?
You're doing business
Got it.
with your honor.
It's rather shed. Okay, let's move on to the next point. Now, what happens if you have a par of food that has been cooked with meat? Now, we're talking about many different examples of meat, kind of. Your type of eating something like meat or eating something par of that was close to meat. Do you need to wait after that to eat dairy or not? So we spoke about eating a meaty tablet, you don't need to wait. We spoke about tasting, and you don't need to wait, although Johnny doesn't like it. And then now we're speaking about having a par of food that has been cooked with meat. If you eat the par of food only, do you need to wait? You only eat the par of food.
Question for the-
Example,
Yes.
yes. What do you say, Johnny?
What do I say? I don't know.
What do you think?
Well,
Um,
going by the first one.
I'm just going to go by yes. Yeah, you can eat the par of food. Yeah.
And
But
you know,
have to
but
wait.
you have to wait afterwards.
Oh no.
You don't need to wait. But you like a cholent. You know what a cholent looks like, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just take the potato out the cholent.
You have to wait.
It's being
No,
cooked
you have to
together.
wait.
You take the potato out. You only eat the potato and say, okay, I want to have my dairy ice cream now. Can you do that?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. I think you can
No.
do that.
No.
You're contradicting your previous thoughts
It's
because you'll
meat.
be able to taste the meat on the thing. You're the same as eating the meat.
It was
No, that's a good point, Dylan.
Slow cooked with the meat, it absorbed the.
It absorbed a lot. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, because it only gets absorbed if it's under heat. So if you take the potato and then you heat up the potato again, then that's removing the meat taste from the potato, which means the potato becomes porous again. It's like kashering your pots and pans.
It's interesting.
But
You
instead
like
you
kasher
kasher
the
the
potato.
potato.
But
Yeah.
you didn't kasher the potato.
Okay,
just
if you don't
take-
kasher the
you
potato,
take the
then no.
potato out, and
Well,
even
then
if
it's
you wash
meat,
it off
it's
under
not-
the sink, there's no sauce anymore, and you just eat a plain potato.
No, it's not
and
porous, it's
totally
still meat.
cooked with meat.
Still meat.
Gotta wait. You gotta wait for that.
Yeah. Still
Okay.
meat. Yeah.
Question on the detail of the tasting thing. So you can only touch your tongue, or can you touch other parts of your mouth?
Apparently, only your tongue. That's what it says.
So,
I don't know why anyone would do that.
I meat ice cream.
That's really weird.
Or you eat it like a duck.
I never taste for that.
Okay, I just want that clarification. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, you couldn't have something in your mouth and just like swish it around or something and then swallow it, because you didn't bite it or anything.
I hear that. Okay, we'll try to get some clarification on this, and I'll bring you some sources that will be helpful. Okay, next point is what happens if you eat a part of food that has been cooked in a meaty pot. The pot has
Fresh.
no meat in there. The meat, this is your pot you always cook chicken soup in, okay?
Did you kosher
It is no, you did not kosher it. It's a meaty pot. Now you take some pasta, spaghetti, and you boil some spaghetti in this pot. Now this is really one of the like
You don't
this
have
is
to wait.
getting more complicated. Do you need to wait? So I've
No.
got two questions for you guys, okay? Two questions. Number one, if you eat the spaghetti, do you need to wait 6 hours afterwards, a proper waiting time, or not?
No.
That's
No.
one. Do you know what I'm asking, Dylan?
Yeah, the pot reason previously cooked meat.
Yeah, you cooked yesterday your chicken soup in there.
24 hours previously.
Okay, let's not go into details because we're going to discuss that. But let's say you have you cook your chicken. This is your meat pot, and now it's completely clean. There's no residue in there. You're putting pasta in there with water, letting it boil, and this is your pasta. It's parv. Do you need to wait now?
No, everybody
And-
by the taste.
Taking it even further. Okay, let's say you don't need to wait. Could you put a dairy sauce over that pasta now after it's finished cooking? So you took the pasta out, you drained it, and now you want to put a hot dairy sauce
It's in a
over it.
different dish.
Can
It's
you
in a
do
different
that
dish.
or not?
It's in a
Yeah,
different
But
dish.
that's the spaghetti that has been cooking in the meaty pot. This is getting really complicated, guys. You have a pot that's meaty, you put spaghetti in there, and that is in theory
It's in a
parv,
new plate.
but it's been cooked in a meaty pot, and you take it out, and then you put a dairy
Yeah.
sauce over
You
it.
said it's been
What?
24 hours, right?
These things happen what?
You said it was 24 hours before we used the
Awesome.
potting.
This is going to be depending on 24 hours. Okay. I would like to expound on this a little bit tomorrow, but let's just answer at least the first question, and that is, if indeed you ate a part of food that cooked in a meaty pot that had no meat in it, there is no need to wait 6 hours. There's no waiting
It's the
time.
taste.
Okay.
Taste.
There is no waiting time, and that is regardless of whether it was there, whether it was used 24 hours or not. Okay.
Wow.
So you don't need to wait for that. Okay. We'll continue tomorrow. Mr. Hashem.